Many of us were spanked as children. Some of us got the open hand, some of us had to go out into the yard and pick a switch, and some of us got the belt. We all know that violence is wrong, and that violence towards children always elicits a visceral response. One cannot behold a parent hitting their child without thinking that's just plain wrong or unnecessary. However, Dr. Elizabeth Gershoff, an associate professor of human development and family sciences at the University of Texas at Austin, says that there's research that shows that by the time most kids get to high school, at least 85% have been spanked. Spanking is an antiquated disciplinary technique that has its roots in religion and gets passed down from generation to generation. Spanking causes many problems. For instance, relationship problems with their parents, mistrust, violence, and slows mental development. Today, I'd like to tell you how spanking is perpetuated and that there are many problems with spanking. Spanking and violence in general is condoned and sometimes even encouraged in the Bible, both in the Old Testament and the New Testament. For instance, in the Old Testament, in Proverbs chapter 13, verse 24, it says, "He that spareth the rod hateth his son, but he that loveth his son chasteneth him betimes." Also, in Proverbs chapter 20, verse 30, it says, "The bruises of a wound cleanseth away evil." The blueness of a wound cleanses away evil. So does stripes the inward parts of the belly. Also, it shows up in the New Testament in Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11, where it says, "Now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby." Spanking is passed down from generation to generation. And one reason for that is the religion. And there are two main excuses people give to justify spanking. One of which is that it happened to me and I turned out fine, so spanking is fine. The other being that there are just no other options to discipline a child with such force, which we'll go into that later. In a website called Science Daily, there's a piece written by Murray Strauss, who is the founder and co-director of the Family Research Lab and professor emeritus of sociology at the University of New Hampshire. And he says that spanking does correct behavior, but not better than other nonviolent ways. For instance, timeout, or explaining, or depriving of privileges. He also says that spanking causes many problems and has been shown to. First, spanking weakens the tie between parent and child because it creates a notion of mistrust between them. Second, the children have a likely chance of becoming violent themselves because children imitate. If that's what their parents do, that's what they do. Third is when a child is spanked at an early age, it increases the likelihood of them being violent in domestic relationships later on in life. Because at that point, violence is so ingrained, it's hard to get away from. Fourth is that it slows mental development in children. And then also that spanking causes problems in school. Now, Grogan Kaler, the co-author with Elizabeth Gershoff, in an article published by the UT News titled "Risks of Harm from Spanking Confirmed by 5 Decades of Research." Grogan Kaler said, "The upshot of the study is that spanking increases the likelihood of a wide variety of undesired outcomes for children. Spanking thus does the opposite of what parents usually want it to do. Raising a child is a very difficult thing to do. But being violent towards a child gives you no benefit. And the problems outweigh the positives. Thank you.